This is 25 Marston Street. This is where back in 2006 we had the incident where the Merrimack River flooded. The river literally came up an estimated almost 30 feet close to where the concrete line is to the brick line of the building. When we got here, the river had just peaked and it started coming down, but that was a process that took a solid 7 to 10 days before it was at a manageable level where there was access to the building.
We earn a living by buying and shipping product out. So that came to a complete halt where we weren't able to receive product for several weeks. We weren't able to ship product out for probably close to a month.
We needed to let our employees know that Mainstream Global was going to survive and that their jobs were going to be safe.
We continued to pay our employees. Even though we didn't have money coming in, we knew that our employees relied on us to provide for their family. And we were going to do everything in our power to minimize any effect that this would cause on anyone else's family. The SBA had sent out a representative to this area, which my brother and I had sat down with them trying to figure out what were our next steps.
The SBA offers economic injury disaster loans to small businesses and most private nonprofit organizations. An economic injury disaster loan is a working capital loan that we offer to help cover normal business expenses during the recovery period.
And we do cover the gap of whatever the insurance does not cover.
Don't wait for your insurance settlement to be finalized before you apply for SBA. It's always best to know what's available to you, and the only way to do that is to complete the SBA application.
Even though there's the best intentions of the SBA, a small business owner needs to be realistic of the fact that it may be some time before assistance comes in.
The cash flow is important, and it's more important when a disaster hits because you're not really expecting to incur additional expenses. When our business more or less was halted, where we weren't shipping and receiving product, having enough cash flow there to allow us to overcome some immediate expenses that we had was extremely important to us.
But before a disaster hits, a business should have a well thought out disaster preparedness plan in place where they have identified their critical operation needs and taken measures to protect those.
Know your surroundings and what are threats that may involve the building, may it be a river, may it be other natural disasters that could happen, and then ask yourselves, how am I prepared for this?
If we would have probably followed up a little closer with local channels and known the significance, I think we had probably heard it looks like the Merrimack Valley will get affected and a flood will come, not to take it lightly, and to do everything you can to possibly move whatever inventory equipment out of that area.
We have a communication strategy that all the employees have a contact person to email, phone, or text if there is a disaster, that there is a spokesperson designated of the business to speak about the business operations, whether they are closed or whether they are still running.
I can't overemphasize the significance of developing personal relationships with your employees. Learn their names, learn what their goals are, learn about their families, and show them that you have a sincere interest in their growth and their opportunities. When we needed their support more than they needed ours, they were there 100% and put in the extra hours and dedicated themselves and felt that we need to come together as a team to make and help Mainstream Global survive this incident.
Implement drills maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, depending upon geographically if they're more prone to hurricanes, doing a drill before hurricane season. The preparedness plan is key for that business to recover. And not only that, but to implement it and to drill it and to practice it.
The other opportunity that we had to work with the SBA was through a program that it serves to provide low-interest loans to reservists that get called to active duty. Our company had been profitable for the last 3 years, in 2001, 2, and in 2003 we had the Iraq War. I'm a naval reservist and was activated to and recalled to active duty in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Considering that both my brother and myself did most of the work with regards to the purchasing and shipping and selling of the company, it was a major loss.
It became our first unprofitable year, and through the SBA we were able to get a low interest loan that allowed the company to stay afloat until I was able to come back and help continue and bring our company back to where it was before I left.
Disaster recovery takeaway tips. Imagine a possible disaster. What would be affected? How can you prepare? Develop a viable continuity of operation plan. Develop strong ties to your community and employees. Learn about SBA's disaster loan programs. If any of your essential employees are called up for active duty, you may qualify for a military reservist economic injury disaster loan. Watch the video Disaster Advice from the experts. For more business building advice, visit sba.gov and www.takeyourownpath.com.